Hi there, my name is Angela, RDI Consultant here at Awesome Match. I wanted to talk a little bit today about what happens to an autistic brain when they're feeling dysregulated. So I have here on my tablet, now you'll get a vision of it right here, but what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about what it is that they're experiencing. Right here we have the senses. At every given moment of every day, we are constantly being bombarded with senses, whether we're hearing things, we're tasting, we're smelling, we're seeing things, we're touching different textures. Every day, we always are intaking all this information. Now, this is a very simplified version of what's happening in our brain, but what we know is when we are having these senses come into our brain, say we're seeing something here, what is happening in our brain is our amygdala, which is our fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and our hippocampus, which is our memory bank, are being activated. So anytime something's happening in our brain is naturally thinking, okay, is this something that I need to be fearful of? In my previous history, have I ever experienced something like this that would cause me to feel like I should be aware, I should be scared? Is this something that could hurt me? So just like in this, we're having all these things come in. And what happens is this is naturally what is happening in our brain. These things are both activated and we are now thinking, okay, is this something I should be fearful of? So say, for example, you hear a saw or a drill. And oh my gosh, that's so loud. My body is, previously it sounds very similar to that of the washroom hand dryers. Those scare me. And you are now stuck in this loop. So what happens is when you're stuck in this loop, you are unable to get to your executive function, which is your rational thought. And so eventually over time, when you get stuck in this loop, you will be able to get yourself out of it. Usually it's by removing the stimuli. So the drill turns off or you move out of the room. And now that sensory is gone and you are now able to get out of this loop. But what has happened is you've now experienced a negative memory bank experience. This is something your body is now addressing that, okay, my memory bank says, nope, this was a negative. Next time it happens, oh, you get stuck in this loop, another negative. Now, what we like to do is we like to use our calm approach, which I've discussed previously in another video. So I encourage you to check that out. When your body is in an overstimulated, dysregulated state, and you're unable to get to your executive function, you get stuck in this loop until the stimuli goes away, but you've never actually dealt with experiencing the process and processing that information where you end up getting that negative memory bank experience. So what the calm process does is you still naturally start in this loop because no matter what, we will be in this loop. This loop doesn't just disappear. But what does happen, we go in this loop and then while we're stuck in this loop, the calm approach allows us to regulate our body, allows us to co-regulate with another person so that we're not doing this on our own. And once we've processed our emotions, we are able to then get to our executive function. So while that experience may not be a positive experience, it's a neutral. The goal here is we want to have neutral or positive memory bank experiences. We don't want negative memory bank experiences. So the next time the child hears a drill, okay, they're going through this, their amygdala is getting heightened, going, oh, I don't like this. This is something that I should be fearful of. And then while your brain examining the hippocampus, which is the memory bank, it's now saying, well, yeah, It is scary. We've had some bad experiences with this, but the last one wasn't so bad. But now you're being regulated by a parent or a caregiver, and you are now going through this figure eight process and out through the executive function. So now, okay, you've had another neutral. So these keep happening, and you have another neutral, and another neutral, and another neutral experience. And then eventually, one day, say dad invites you to build something with him. So now you are in a state where you're getting to enjoy this experience with dad. Maybe he's teaching you how to hold the drill, and you get to accomplish this with him. So you're going through this process. Your amygdala is like, yeah, we've had this a few times. It doesn't seem so scary now. I don't think it's something I need to be fearful of. And you come out your executive function, your rational thought, and now this was a positive experience. You got to co-regulate with dad while building something special together. Now you have this positive memory bank experience. So this is where it becomes so important to stay consistent and to help your child co-regulate through these areas of discomfort and overwhelm, because you are giving them the tools to be able to get to their executive function. The brain is a very confusing thing. This is a very, very, very simplified version of what essentially is going on in your autistic child's brain. But it's the key points here that I would love for you to take out of this is that your child is constantly receiving information, just as you are, but their brains might be processing it differently than you are. Where, say, even in this room right now, I have the sun coming in from the windows. I have people walking by the windows. Maybe I can hear something in the room beside me. These are all things that I'm taking in, but these are things that are not causing me dysregulation. For a child who maybe that's all they can focus on is that there is someone outside their window right now, and they are unable to process that in a way. Maybe that person is watching them, and so they feel like their amygdala is heightened. Whatever the case is, they might feel dysregulated from that. So again, it's important to understand that we're all taking in information differently. So supporting that sensory is one of the first things we can do to help our child. If maybe they are feeling dysregulated because it's too loud, we can put on some headphones to help. Then we co-regulate with them so that they're feeling connected and supported. The other thing that we can look at is that our past experiences will play a part in this. If we've had multiple bad experiences with a certain situation, it's important that we understand that that child may need additional support. I think there's a rough number that it takes for every negative experience, it takes 9 positive experiences to kind of counterweigh that. So that just tells you the importance of staying consistent, staying focused with that child and co-regulating with them so that they do receive that neutral memory bank experience. Ideally, yes, we would love all the positive memory bank experiences, but those take time. And so if you stay consistent and you stay focused on co-regulating with them, using the calm approach, explaining their feelings, allow them through their feelings. Now, again, as we've discussed in the calm approach, we don't want to redirect. And that's typically what happens in those instances. Parents will see that their child is in this figure eight of overwhelm and they're unable to reach their executive function. And so what parents do is they may distract them. Oh, look at the shiny thing over here. Yes, you have now taken away the stimuli. You've now gotten them out of that loop, essentially taught them to avoid the situation, which is a negative experience. So I hope this clarifies a bit more what's going on. I encourage you to stay curious and mindful of your child. And next time your child is maybe in a dysregulated state, I encourage you to remember this drawing of what maybe is happening inside your child's brain. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.